Hey guys, welcome back, and yes, you read this right. Master Duel will have a big problem in the future, and this problem is indicated by this new OCG meta report from 2024. It's the newest one, 18th of August, and we can see right here, and I will explain to you how this all basically relates to Master Duel, because it relates pretty much one-to-one, if you ask me. You can see right here, we have this OCG meta report breakdown, Tenpai Dragon occupying 30% of the pie, and then Snake Eyes the other 30%. Then we can see right here Centurion, Labyrinth, Jubel, Rescue Ace, Memento, Ritual Beast, all these stuff here basically representing, I don't know, maybe another 20-ish, 15-ish. And we can see these two decks being at the top here. Tenpai Dragon deck that I expect to come very soon in Master Duel, probably. And honestly, I hope, because I love the deck, honestly, I hope within the next pack that comes in September, but we don't yet have confirmation for this. I guess we will find this out next Monday or the Monday afterwards. I'm hoping that Tenpai Dragon will come, but Tenpai Dragon will also be a big impact in Master Duel, the next big thing to come to Master Duel, and we will have to see how good or bad this will be for the game. If you're not aware of what Tenpai Dragon does, this is a going second strategy that is highly effective, can play a lot, even board breakers or hand traps. You can play up to 21, 22 board breakers or hand traps in your list, which definitely you can play shifter. This is also a big point, but there are also other factors that I will show you in a moment that basically have as a consequence the fact that Tenpai Dragon and Snake Eyes are on top of here. And one interesting thing, and we will talk about this in a second here, we have 79 Snake Eyes, and then we have 71 Fiendsmith Azamina Snake Eyes and 6 Fiendsmith Snake Eyes, and they show us here a Fiendsmith Snake Eyes list, but I will talk to you or explain to you what this Fiendsmith Azamina Snake Eyes means, and I will show you a list. And there's one important thing to talk about this Fiendsmith Snake Eyes stuff here. But let's start here with Tenpai Dragon. We have Tenpai Dragon, the most represented deck, and as I already said, this will probably come within the next update or the update afterwards. So if it does not come in September, I'm definitely expecting it in October, because now we are on the new set. We already get stuff from the new set, so the new Rosalina cards, as well as I think the aroma cards are still from the old pack, from Phantom Nightmare, but the Ragnaraka cards are from this new one, from Legacy of Destruction, where also Tenpai was introduced. There are Tenpai cards that came later, like the Dora Draco and the Genroku, but it's important to note that these two cards here are definitely not that impactful. So if we only get the first wave of Tenpai, for example, which would be everything Tenpai in this list besides these two cards here, then Tenpai will still be a big impact. These are only nice additional pieces here that are not super necessary, but then again are more necessary in Master Duel and in the OCG than they are in the TCG, mainly because they only have one pot of prosperity. And for example, we don't have a terraforming, where the TCG has triple pot and then a terraforming, and they already have the field spell, which makes every fire dragon monster in your main phase 1 unaffected. They already have this at 1, but this deck is still so powerful. And just to show you a few of the most important cards that definitely have caused this change, so why is this the most effective deck at the moment? We have this new Maxi card, they call it the Mulch Army Fuvaros, as well as a very nice new trap card that I also want to show you. This one down here, the Dominus Impulse. We'll talk about this in a moment, so let me first show you the Mulch Army Fuvaros, the new Maxi as they call it. You know the Mulch Army Purulia, I've shown you this already, but if you control no cards, this is a very nice clause, which means you can't build your board and then maxi your opponent in his turn. You can discard this card, apply these effects this turn. Each time your opponent special summons a monster from the deck and or extra deck, draw one card. So not from the hand, the other one, the Mulch Army Purulia, which the TCG has right now. The Mulch Army Purulia only counts from the hand. This one does count from the deck and extra deck. And then once during the end phase, if the number of cards in your hand is more than the number of cards your opponent controls plus 6, you must randomly shuffle cards from your hand into the deck, so the number in your hand equals the number your opponent controls plus 6. Note here, this basically never ever comes up, so we have played with this card, or I have played with the card in the TCG for a while now. I have played like real life tournaments, I have played Omega TCG a lot, and never ever, when using the other one, the Mulch Army Purulia, did I need to shuffle back cards. I mean, this is a save clause that basically prevents you from drawing way too many cards, but this doesn't often come up. Maybe it comes up more often with this new card, because this says from the extra deck and from the deck, so you will definitely draw more cards with this one than with the other one, the Mulch Army Purulia. But yeah, this is basically Maxi 2. Obviously Maxi is better because you can also drop the Maxi in your opponent's turn if you already control cards and you don't have this drawback of putting the cards back. Also Maxi counts from the hand, so it's a worse version of Maxi. But of course, why wouldn't you play 3 of the Fuvaros and then 3 Maxi? We can see this in this list. You can see how many many hand traps this deck can play. And it makes sense because you want to go second, and obviously going second this card is great because then it's like a maxi basically. You don't want to have this in your deck going first, because if you build your board and pass over to your opponent, you can't activate it anymore. So this is Mulch Army Fuvaros together with the maxi here. And this is definitely, yeah, chaos. So the second deck we have here is Snake Eyes representing with 30%. And the most important thing I want to point to here is the fact that we basically have the same Snake Eye version than they have here, right? They have a Snake Eye Ash at 1, they have the Wanted at 1, they have the Bonfire at 2. These are basically the same limitations as we have here in Master Duel, but it does not matter. It turns out that it doesn't matter because you can hit this engine as much as you want. The problem is that they keep releasing new cards that you can just replace the old cards with. We saw this with the Fire King stuff. So we have the Snake Eye Ash at 1, we have the Bonfire at 2, we have the Wanted at 1. It doesn't matter because we have the Fire King stuff that you could put in the deck right now. And then they released the Fiendsmith stuff, namely these 3 cards here, the Fiendsmith Engraver as well as Fiendsmith Tractus, and then the Fiendsmith Fusion Monsters as well as the 2 Fiendsmith Link Monsters down here. And it doesn't really matter that they keep releasing new cards for this archetype. For example, this one is also a new Fiendsmith card, but then if they would hit the Fiendsmith card, it does not matter because we also have this new version, Fiendsmith Azamina Snake Eyes. So what is Azamina? Azamina are new Wanted or Diabelza cards basically, consisting of these 3 cards here as well as this one, and then the Fusion Monsters, I think it's called Reselia or something, and the other one I'm not quite sure. But what you can do with this, and I want to show you this in another video in the next days, because I want to show you how powerful this deck will become, because with just opening this card here, you can basically, this is one card that needs a discard, you can basically get to a monster negate or an omni negate. I think this one, the blue fusion one, is a monster negate early on and still access your entire Snake Eyes Fiendsmith combo. If you can access your Snake Eyes combo, you can access your Fiendsmith combo and vice versa, because if you're not aware, if you do go for your Fiendsmith stuff, then you can also via this Beatrice here dump your Snake Eyes stuff into the graveyard and then just revive it with the Promethean Princess. So every engine here gets you into the other engine, which is so crazy. And the fun fact is, you see this here, right? They are playing Floodgates in the main deck. Very strange. Here you can also see it, right? And the reason is that every deck can play so many hand traps, and we have this Fuvaros Maxi combination, so basically 6 Maxis, that they basically have to skip turns because you are getting hand trapped so much. So they decided to put in Floodgates, even if they don't know whether they go first or second, which is so crazy if you ask me. And this is the meta that the OCG currently is on with, and this is important to point out here. We've already hit Snake Eye engine, right? The TCG, it's way worse than the TCG. In the TCG, everything is unlimited, but obviously the TCG is expecting a big ban list within the next few days to save the format. A lot of people are leaving the game. A lot of pro players are leaving the game because they are so fed up with the current format. And even though I really love to play Tenpai Dragon, it's a really fun deck. I love it. I love the artwork. I love the design. I've played this a lot on tournaments. I have played against this on tournaments with Snake Eyes Fiendsmith within the last few days. I were on a few OTS tournaments here in Germany, and it's very frustrating to play against Tenpai Dragon. Let me tell you that it's a fun deck, but it's so unfun getting shifted, getting mulch armied. So I'm talking about the mulch army Purulia here, of course, but this one will also come to the TCG, and then the TCG has its new version of Maxi. So the game is really at a bad point at the moment in the TCG as well as in the OCG, as we can see right here. This is not healthy, and this will come to us in Master Duel, and I guess we can kind of expect like this here coming to us in Master Duel, because our ban list kind of is like the OCG ban list, as I've already pointed out. We have the same Snake Eye limitations as they have, and yeah, it doesn't matter how many Snake Eyes hits they basically integrate into Master Duel. It does not matter because there will be so many support cards coming for this deck in the future. It's so crazy. And then obviously we also have this Tenpai Dragon situation, which I think a lot of people will be fed up quite fast when this comes to Master Duel, because we have a best of 1 format, which means you cannot side deck against this deck. Your opponent can just let you go first and then kill you, drop like 6 Maxis on you. And by the way, you can drop a Maxi and you can drop a Mulch Army Fuvaros. You could also drop another Mulch Army Fuvaros, by the way, because this is like twice per turn. You can only activate one other Mulch Army monster effect that turn you activate this effect. So you can drop this twice, right? So in theory, this is overkill, of course, but in theory, you could go ahead and drop 1 Maxi and then 2 Fuvaros, which means for every card that you summon from the extra deck or the deck, and then also from the hand with the Maxi, you are drawing 3 cards. This is bonkers. The game is in such a strange state here in the OCG as well as in the TCG. TCG is definitely, yeah, the TCG can correct the course by having a nice ban list, but the OCG is in shambles, if you ask me. A very strange situation. Then again, I'm super hyped for Tenpai Dragon. I love it. Let's go into the chaos. And just to show you this, the Dominus Impulse, I just want to show you the Dominus cards. These are very cool new hand traps, if you ask me. By the way, if you like my content, please consider subscribing, hitting the thumbs up and the notification bell, especially hitting the notification bell would help me out a lot. Let me know in the comments about your opinion about this current state of affairs here, and I will show you within the next few days what these powerful versions of these decks mean. I want to show you full power Duel as well as this Fiendsmith Azamina deck, Snake Eyes, which is totally insane. But we have this new Dominus hand traps. If you have not seen them, I want to show you them. This is already out in the TCG, and you could argue this is the worst of the two that are coming here, the Impulse and the Purge. If your opponent controls a card, you can activate this card from your hand, so it's like infinite impermanence that you can basically use quite easily. When a card or effect is activated that includes an effect that adds a card from the deck to the hand, so very, very generic, negate that effect, and then if you have a trap card in your graveyard, destroy that card. Really cool, but if you activate this card from your hand, you cannot activate the effects of dark, water, and fire monsters for the rest of this duel. This is also why this card is not in Tenpai Dragon, as we can see right here in the metagame report. This is not the card in Tenpai Dragon, but the other one is, because obviously all of these are fire, right? So we can only play this in specific decks, which I kind of like. And then we have Dominus Impulse, also very strong. If your opponent controls a card, you can activate this card from your hand, same condition basically. When a card or effect is activated that includes an effect that special summons a monster, so for example Original Sinful Spoils or Snake Eye Ash or whatever, negate that effect. Then if you have a trap in your graveyard, destroy that card. If you activated this card from your hand, you cannot activate the effects of light, earth, and wind monsters for the rest of this duel, which obviously mean that you can basically use all your Tenpai monsters. They are playing the package here, the Gamma package, because they want to activate this before they activate the trap card, because afterwards they can't no more. But keep in mind that with the new Dominus hand traps, if you just place them on the field and activate them from the field, you won't have this restriction, because this is only from hand. But yeah, this is the state that we are basically aiming towards in Master Duel. At the moment, I would say our meta is way more healthy than this, but we will get this. This is coming to us, and this is not far. This is not far off, right? Because the Tenpai Dragon stuff will be coming quite soon. I guess this will have a big meta impact, and then the Fiendsmith cards are also not that far away. The Azamina cards are definitely very new, so basically these cards I showed you right here, the fusion cards, and then these cards here. But they will also come, and yeah, the Snake Eye stuff, it will stay. You definitely have to content yourself with having this Snake Eyes meta for the next, I don't know, half a year, and then yeah, be prepared to have Tenpai Dragon also added up in this mix here. I'm so hyped for Tenpai Dragon, I can't even tell. I love the deck. I don't know, it's such a stupid deck, but it's so fun. You can also play, I'm playing a version with a lot of board breakers, Regeki, Dark Hole, triple Regeki, triple Dark Hole, triple Forbidden Droplet, triple and 2 Lightning Storms and 1 Feather Duster. It's so fun. Your opponent builds a board and you just go Dark Hole, Feather Duster, and then you kill him with like 1 Tenpai Dragon monster with 36,000 damage. It's so stupid, but it's also very, very fun. Not for your opponent though, but for yourself. So let me know what you think of this here. I think that Master Duel will have a big problem when we get into this meta, and we are definitely on the way to get into this meta, because our ban list basically looks like this. So yeah, the floodgates at 1 and all the other stuff. This is our ban list. This is our future. Let me know in the comments what you think, and we will see each other in the next one.